Welcome back to New Talk. I'm your host, Miss Faye, and I'm here with the new ladies. Tonight, we decided to go live a little early to talk about the recent incident that occurred at Fort Lauderdale International Airport. 8 wounded, 5 dead. Anna, tell us more about the story.
So pretty much earlier this afternoon, a young man who they've now identified as Esteban Santiago, he picked up his bag from baggage claim, and then witnesses say they saw him go into the restroom, and then basically he came out shooting. They feel that he went in there, got his gun from out of his bag, and started shooting. This young man, they have also confirmed he was in the military. He did some time in Iraq. And one of the weird things about the whole incident is that a few months back, he did express hearing voices, hearing things, or about ISIS. He voluntarily checked in for mental issues regarding, what he was hearing and seeing. And he was released, and then he took a flight, and legally, you are able to take your gun to the airport, you declare it, they confirm that it's in the case, you can fly with your weapon. So he followed that procedure, and sadly for 5 people, it ended very badly, and then we have the 8 wounded.
So why do you guys think that he did this? Why do you think it happened, Anna? Starting with you.
Immediately is mental health. I feel like he is not mentally right. Being a wife of a veteran, when they go over there, the conditions that they're programmed to. I can't even say that they deal with. It's that they're programmed to, and then they deal with it. They don't always come back the same, and everyone is different. Not every veteran is alike, but when they come back, I don't think that they are treated properly. And who knows, when you add on that extra stress, who knows what your mind will start to go through, especially with all the social media.
Right. Nisha, what do you think?
I feel like it was an act on attention. He checked himself in. Yeah. They know that he had a mental issue, but they just didn't take his word seriously. So obviously, it's like a child. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you're not paying closely with that child, they're going to act out. This is his way of acting out. If you guys didn't take me seriously, well, now I'm going to show you what I really mean. He said he was hearing voices. He acted on those voices. And this is what we have in America. We keep disowning our veterans when we're trying to boost, we should be boosting them up.
Right.
Because we have Veterans Day. We have so many things that are for veterans. And we really
take care of them.
Yeah, we don't take care of them. We don't support them. So it just leads me to feel like the money that we ship them out to do, why not use that same money to get them well?
Back to
right. What do you think, Ashley?
I agree with Anna that it was probably a mental thing, because the way he surrendered, they said that he did, after his bullets ran out, he laid on the ground, spread eagle, just kind of waited for the cops to come in. So it was no really fight for it. So I think it was just, he heard voices in his head, he expressed it, nothing could be done about it, and then he expressed it further, and then it resulted in this.
Yeah, I agree with all 3 comments. It actually is mental, and that's the thing, is that when somebody speak about being, having mental issue, hearing spirit, a lot of people probably laugh it off and be like, oh, whatever, you just being crazy.
Or sending you some pills just to take and ease your mind.
And that don't work, because I've known, a lot of people taking pills, they don't like taking pills because they feel like they're crazy or they're not normal, so they would stop taking the pill, and then that would cause them to react to the situation. And people, I feel like we as human don't take that serious when someone come to us or, tell us situation like that. So at the end of the day, either he would commit suicide or he tried to hurt people around him and then hurt himself. So that's the end of the story.
That tends to be the 2 dynamics with someone that is suffering mentally, especially in soldiers. It's either suicide. I mean, the suicide rates among veteran and soldiers is ridiculous. Right. Or they end up causing harm to other people.
Or they should just reevaluate the program that they put put these people in, because we're not animals. Our brains, we don't even know how well our brains like really function. Like we still don't even know the depths of the levels of our brain activity. You know what I'm saying? So when they're exposed and we're programming them, they're robots. How do you expect them to come back to society and act normal?
It will never happen.
So it sounds like we all think it's a mental issue and not a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
Okay. If the shooter was black, would they have taken him into custody? What do you guys think?
I'd say no. I don't think they would have taken him into custody if he was black. With the way black men have been getting taken in recently, I'm just gonna say no. They would have.
Given the history, we just
Yeah,
feel confident
yeah.
that he would have been
shot,
taken in at least unharmed. This young man, he surrendered. They didn't, they didn't super tackle him, or they didn't shoot him to get him in, or they didn't. They took him in. Because they even, I want to say it was the sheriff. I listened. He specified he was taken in unharmed.
Yeah.
It was very interesting though when I heard him say that, because he specified that.
Yeah.
It's very rare when you hear someone being taken in, especially on a situation like that. They didn't shoot him, or they didn't, taser him.
Right.
They took him in unharmed.
Right.
He's safe and sound like a baby. Like when I heard that, I'm just like, wow. Within the past few years, have we been heard about the stupid stuff about like
People
a
that aren't doing
guy
anything
in a car,
and
and then the
shot.
cop they shoot him, but then they get away with that, like, oh, it's slapping the wrist for the cop. So to me, he would definitely either be shot or something crazy.
Right.
We need to reevaluate how we look at these kind of situations. Is like, okay, so we shoot a black man that's obviously unharmed, but we shoot him to the death. But then again, when somebody's doing like a mass murder attack, we bring them into custody and we try to hear them out. That makes no sense.
Yeah,
I was watching some live streaming on the news, like CNN and ABC, and like the top 4 major channels, and I was just kind of listening in and closing out, and I just kept hearing them saying, so the shooter's in custody, but we don't really know much about him.
Yeah.
We don't really know much about him. It took me 2 minutes to Google his name and find out everything about him, in his background. It's like if it was a black man, it would have took them 2 minutes as well. And everything would have been confirmed as fact.
He'd been in jail.
That he would have been that. But it's like with this person, they're like, oh, he's unharmed. We're not, nothing's being confirmed. It's a possibility.
And they're hiding a lot of
really
stuff.
light. It's taken really lightly.
Right.
Definitely.
So it's been confirmed that the shooter had a permit. So should civilians be free to own guns? What do you guys think about that?
Yes, with clearance.
What do you mean with clearance?
We have to bring these people in and question them. Why would you need a gun? Let's check their mental health. Let's really get to know the people in our society that choose to have guns.
Yeah.
Why not? To be honest with you, it shouldn't take a 4-hour test, then you sign a paper, and then the next day you're gonna have a gun. It doesn't add up to me.
Right.
And then what's interesting is I know immediately people are going to say, this is why we need gun laws, gun control, gun laws. This is why weapons shouldn't be on the street. But let's get this. The facts are this. He had a gun. He had a permit for it that he was legally able to carry.
Right.
The problem is you have someone that was confirmed with having mental issues, not have that permit or that right to carry removed. I feel like that is a form of gun control. You people think that whenever they start speaking about the guns and NRA, and then people get upset, they don't want us to have guns. What's not that is have the guns, but for people that are able to properly carry them. That won't take that, and on a day of, I'll be honest, I don't have a gun because I got issues. I'll snap, and it's so, I'm like, I know, but I know me.
Yeah.
So it's like, the minute when not only did he get checked in, he voluntarily checked into a hospital, he also went and spoke to the FBI because he was talking about ISIS. And at that moment, with all the research that they could do, they can check in the system of what this young man had access to. They could have said, listen, you know what? He has a permit to carry, a license to carry. I feel the best thing is to remove that. And I've seen that a lot with people that end up doing shootings is at some point in time, some psychological question or issue popped up, and never was the rights for them to carry removed. And I feel like maybe that's something that needs to implement because it probably could have been avoided. Now, whether he carried it illegally, then that would have been something else.
Right.
But there's nothing put in place to take care of that.
How do you guys feel about the shooting, the fact that it's closer to home?
I feel like it kind of puts more fear You know, it makes you more fearful because it's kind of like, that missed me by a day. I was just there yesterday, or I just dropped somebody off. You know, it feels so much closer to you, like it, you know. So I think it just kind of instills a little more fear and awareness too of that. Like, it could happen anywhere. These things happen all the time. You just never know.
I personally feel like we just need to stop waiting until it hits home. We need to put a factor on it now.
Right.
Let's get gun control now. If somebody's checking themselves in for a mental issue and they're hearing voices, we need to act upon that and not just disown them and just cast them off. It makes it makes no sense. We really need to act. Instead of just acting in different countries, we need to act within our own. We need to really know our people, know our country, and actually be united as one. We're not a united country at all.
And that goes with knowing your community, you know, like knowing, like if we got out more and we talked to each other more, and we all were sharing like what we were going through and stuff like that, and you have just people like that you can talk to and share stuff with. But you have to get out of your house to do that. And when things like this happen, it puts fear in you to stay inside, to close off to yourself, and these things kind of spiral downward. It's not really something that you can predict, like someone getting upset and shooting, but it's something that like you can kind of prevent, you know, with laws in place, but even with or without laws in place, you know, somebody can do whatever. It's just, you gotta just, I think, have people around you that can possibly help you.
We need to stop we need to stop giving out medicine. We need to talk. The more we talk, the more we understand our whole society. You know what I'm saying? Just giving people pills just because they feel I'm feeling down, or I'm not happy today, or I'm feeling crazy today. We need to stop just, you know what, we have a pill for that. We have a pill. Yeah.
Medicating our society.
We need to talk. We're humans. That's how we interact with each other. That's how we have a society now that you know.
But we also have to talk and be able to break down and to take off the titles. Muslim, Christian, this, that. Like the blame game, like just reading the comments. I never comment on things, but I read them because they're there, and it's just the same. It is like repetition, the same arguments happening. People blaming the same people. And it's just like none of that really matters. This man killed people. Got his gun on him, just felt like killing people. He had no one that could talk to him, stop. Nothing could have been done personally before you talk about gun laws, because it was legally done when it comes from the gun perspective.
Right.
This goes to like a personal issue. Like you gotta have people around you.
Exactly, because it's so funny. Like you say that, like with the whole we put a name on everything.
Titles,
But we do Muslims in society now. We look at them as evil or like bad, but when a white boy comes into a church and shoots up the whole church, then what is that called?
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? Then what is that? We're human beings. We bleed the same way. We have the same brain. We all have the same parts within ourselves. You know what I'm saying? But then again, some people are just caught from a different cloth, and we have to have a way to try to understand people, not just cast them off and be like, okay, you're crazy. No, get to understand it. You may not know it, but get to understand and try to evaluate, all right, where is this person coming from? It can be coming from a bad point, yes, but we should not cast them off and just send them away or just disown them. No, we need, because it will happen again. It's a repetitive cycle that we live in. You know what I'm saying? Right. It always happens again when we don't understand.
Exactly.
If you guys have any questions, please comment below. Share this video because we need to talk more. Like everyone is saying here, we need to talk and we need to be concerned with what's going on and try to make a difference.
Yeah.
How do you guys think it's going to affect traveling laws now after this situation occurred?
Hopefully it does affect, you know, the traveling society and bring more protection, because I feel like it is so easy for somebody, say for instance, my mom coming to pick me up, she can just go into the back area and be like, oh, where my daughter at? It's so easy for people to get into the airport just like that. So hopefully they have more security, more way of searching and checking within that range.
What about you, Hannah?
I mean, I think that, unfortunately, as we all know, traveling after 9/11 already was hectic.
Yeah.
It's been hectic, just traveling all together. But I think now the searching, and maybe it's not even the searching, because keep in mind, he declared it. They knew
it was open. It was bad.
They knew he was traveling with it. I think though what's going to change is and which will start to upset a lot of gun owners and maybe NRA members, is there might be a full ban restriction on weapons. Or maybe they might say, okay, you know what, you can take the weapon, it has to be unloaded, and magazine has to be empty. No ammunition is allowed. You buy your ammunition when you get out. You know, maybe that's a middle ground of it, you know, to do it. Because at the end of the day, if someone has bad intent, they're going to do it one way or the other. You know, but you know, I think it's going to affect those people that, you know, I'm not going to lie. If I were to travel and my husband takes his weapon, part of me, actually, I'm okay with it. I feel comfortable. I'll be very honest. And so now to know, it's like, oh, well, you don't want to do this, they're going to not restrict it or they're not going to allow it. It's a matter of, you know, what will our tax dollars eventually change? Because it also goes down to, they can change the laws, you know, of how you're going to travel with the weapon, if they allow you to even travel with the weapon now going forward. Maybe they have different rules that they're going to create for how you declare it. You know, maybe you don't get it you know, maybe they ship it, and when you get off your plane, you get your bag, they may say go pick it up somewhere else far from the airport, you know, far from a huge space where there's a lot of people. So maybe that'll be one alternative.
But you know what? I think it's kind of funny because there's some alcoholic beverages that you can't even bring with you from different countries, but we're allowing guns to be declared. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we need to try to have we need to set up priorities. Like we really don't. We don't really have a structured system. So it's like, what are we really doing? How are we really going about? How are we going to go about the situation?
If we had the ability to create the laws right now, what would you add when it comes to carrying guns, bringing guns into the airport? What would you add? What would you change?
Mental clearance.
Mental clearance.
I would go with Anna's idea. Just check it, and then you got to pick it up from somewhere else. So I mean, that prevents the shooting from happening at the airport.
And no ammunition. I like that.
No ammunition in the, you know, because I think currently when you read the statute or the fine print, everything you have to empty out the magazine. It has to be in a box, in a special box too. You just can't put it like in a little small case. It has to be in a special box. You have to make sure it's locked. And you can't share, you're not allowed to share that key to unlock that box with anyone. It's illegal. Right. And so maybe they say, okay, put the gun in there, but when you get to wherever you're going, go find some ammunition, go buy it there. Yeah. But definitely, I think some mental or health clearance is definitely required. Because think about it. So if you're driving and you're intoxicated, boom, what happens? Your license gets taken away. You can't drive. So I feel like if you are, you know, mentally unfit, having issues, just not capable of making rational decisions and not causing harm to others, you know, if you fall in that spectrum where you just aren't right, then just like they revoke your license and you have to Uber, they should revoke your permit and you should not be able to,
you know, fight.
I feel the same way because when I was traveling to Jamaica and I'm like 13 years old, they're questioning me, how long are you going to stay for? What are you doing here? Who are you staying with? Question people with guns as well. Do a heavy security on guns. Me being a 13-year-old girl, you questioning me like I'm a terrorist. You know what I'm saying? But you're not even questioning things that are like bigger than. Damn, it's like it's so complicated and it's. So
I feel like they take attention to the smallest thing, but the stuff that needs to be taken attention to, they kind of blow it to the side. Exactly. So that's what I feel that they do in society.
And I also think they need to, I mean, there's a lot. This isn't the first incident where we've had someone that checked in or has expressed issues, that has expressed or has been, you know, because we read, if you notice, there's always this trend with people that end up doing these things. When you look down the history, at some point in time, they had contact with law enforcement, where the FBI, CIA, someone reached out to them because their actions were funny, were shady, were funky. And it's like, okay, so at that point, at that marker in that person's life, why not take that away? Right. Why not stop it there? You know, instead, now we have to talk about an incident of 5 people losing their lives. You know, look at Post nightclub. He as well, prior to the events, he had been investigated. They had looked into him. He had been reported. So it's like, we need to, you know, our government needs to be a little bit more in tune like I said, you take away my license because I'm driving under the influence, will take away someone's right to carry. You know, sadly, I know that doesn't fix the issue fully because there are a lot of illegal weapons that people tend to carry. But realistically, into an airport, if you legally do not have the right to carry a weapon, and you show up there with the weapon, then you really tripping.
Right.
I'd like to say, like, what I think is really important here when things like this happen, because it's not that uncommon, really. It's kind of been happening often. Shootings, they happen. And I think what's important is that we're talking. Like, I really didn't want to share my thoughts because everybody's sharing their thoughts. It gets so overwhelming. Everyone's mad. And I want to say that you can't really defend a negative action with negative energy.
Right.
So if you're arguing over any point, if you're arguing, period, this is not a situation to argue over. It's something that we kind of just have to send our condolences to the family, spread love, for one, to the people that are like immediately affected by this. For two, kind of patiently sit back, hope for the best, and see what our government does. We can't really do anything. So everyone, I feel like the art, like just coming off so hard on social media, that's where most of our information is coming from, and it's fueled so negatively, so fearful based, and it's not about what matters. What matters is that people lost their lives. This man is now in custody. Let's come together and try to prevent these things.
And
that's
gun
really
laws shouldn't be strict just in Florida. It should be strict in the whole of America. Like, come on, guys. Like, we need to stop making ourselves like, oh, well, it didn't happen in our state, so
we're not going to worry
we're not going to worry about it, and
right.
our laws are not going to be as strict. No. It's the whole of society. We are a society itself, America, united people as one. We need to come together.
Yeah, because he's from New Jersey, and he was trapped, and then he lives in Alaska. So it's like, you know, he's not even from down here. You know, and we're the ones affected by it. So, I mean, that's much to say that, okay, if the issue is being addressed here, okay, Georgia, you know, all the other states also need to look into it. Because, unfortunately, unless it's something federal, you know, every state has a decision to and haw about it and figure out, well, will we do this? You know, if you have a state that is more NRA driven, they'd probably be too afraid to touch it. But let's be real, you know, like we kind of said, we wait till it hits home to actually take some action. But, you know, people have been talking about ways to reform people carrying weapons.
Right.
Yeah. I'm all for using your platform to talk about current events like we are doing, and like everybody on social media does. You have a platform, you use it, you talk. But talking and texting words is not taking action. You need to actually probably get involved in the things that surround these type of things. If you need to get involved in CSA or NRA or government, do something. Actually start today. I know you can't go and jump in the government tomorrow, but if you really are affected by stuff like this, then you need to sign up for that class. Start getting it, climb your way up there and get to a place where you can do something. Start sending letters to people, something even quicker, like take immediate action, and talking and saying words on social media and getting angry is really not doing it.
And let's stop following our president tweeting about things. We need to come on TV and speak about these issues. Tweeting about it doesn't affect anything.
Yeah, words, so action.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to New Talk. This is the New Ladies and Next Up TV. If you missed our previous episodes, please go to nextuptv.com and watch all the episodes, catch up, and see what we have going on. We have major things in store for you guys, so stay tuned. We do have a major photo shoot going on this Sunday, and we will be going live, so you can check out the whole photo shoot. So make sure you tune in at 11:30 on Sunday.
And please leave comments. We will be checking them, responding, replying. We like to stay very engaged with our with people that come on our page. So you know, and we don't mind if you don't agree with what we said. Let us know. I mean, I've gone and I've read people say, "Oh, well, I didn't like what she said." Well, that's fine.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's understand one another.
That's what we want to have. We want to be able to have a dialogue where it's not just, you know, you just give your opinion and keep it moving. Like, let's discuss this. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, we're not.
And we're actually working on having a live studio audience. So please keep watching so you know when that's going to happen, so we can give out free tickets. You can come watch the show. This is New Talk, nextuptv.com. Thank you.
Bye.
Keep she told her no tickets was on sale. But that's all right. She never even mentioned tickets on sale. for me to talk about.